Hello and welcome to the Walk and Love podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we're going to talk about the Seacrest collection. Launching May 18th, 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't you forget it.
YouTubes.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. I'm just going to stare at the camera the whole time.
Oh, wow.
The Walk and Love podcast is a weekly
that
conversation
makes me
between
uncomfortable
Brooke and
I'm
I
sitting next to you.
about emotions, rhythms, faith, marriage, parenting, and so much more. It's a place where we laugh and sometimes cry as we try to find language to live a more joy-filled life.
You know, for those people not watching, which is the majority of our audience, you're going to sound like a psycho. So that's
I'm okay
fine.
with it. Guess what today is?
Today is Thursday. Today is podcast day.
No notes.
No notes.
No notes.
No notes?
No notes.
No notes.
No notes.
No notes.
No.
Today's a day where we start off saying,
I feel very blessed.
and we get to about part way through and we're like,
What are we
should
doing?
we have written some notes?
Yeah, exactly.
Today's sponsor of the Walk and Love podcast is the Seacrest collection, which you can see on YouTube behind us.
Mm-hmm.
It is a collection of 7 designs.
Yes. I don't know the item count. I just know it's 7 designs.
7 designs that are all amazing. You voted on them, and so we made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope that they remind you. They are the reminders that you need when you wear them, and they encourage you and inspire you to love others every chance you get. No strings attached. To live a more joy-filled life, to follow Jesus more rigorously and passionately, to do all the things all the time. The other day we were talking about the collection, looking at, it'll go live on May 18th. We'll share a discount code for podcast listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll share one today, and we'll
Probably,
also
yeah.
share one next week.
Yeah.
Because some of you are always like a
Little behind.
little behind, which is fine. I was behind until maybe junior year of college.
Not behind, just not up to date.
Right.
I feel like that's different.
Yeah.
It's the same, but it's not.
Yeah. So we were looking at the designs and I was feeling like, okay, well, let's name this collection, which I think we like to do. Sometimes we just don't.
Yeah.
And I just felt like all the designs, honestly, were like about rest. One of the designs literally says Seacrest, but I just felt like it was, and I feel when we do like a voting collection, that's often what rises to the surface.
There is this like collective, sometimes, let's say more often than not, there's like a collective focused energy to what people bring to the top. It's like what everybody's needing right now.
Yeah, like I remember when we did a collection early on in COVID, and we had people vote. All the designs were like, "It's going to be okay. Do not worry. Do not worry." All that kind of stuff. The "do not worry" seems to be like a constant theme in everyone's life.
Yeah,
because I think it's really easy to worry constantly. I think it's our natural disposition a lot of times. And then I think culture being like, "Ugh, everything is poisonous, and you're going to die if you do this, and you shouldn't do that, and if you did that, like." I talk about that reel that I saw one time that was like a guy trying to go on a diet and he's like, oh, I'm going to start eating eggs. And then it was like, he was like splicing in other reels of people just being like, 8 reasons I never eat eggs anymore. He's like, so he spits them out and he's like, all right, well, I'll just eat salad. He slices it. Why salad is killing you? And then it ends and he's like, I'm just going to drink water.
Yeah.
Just drink more water. And it's like 4 reasons I stopped drinking water and you should too. And you're just like, so worry is an easy thing to have.
Yeah.
And have an abundance. And so we hope these designs help you not worry as much, to seek rest, to slow down, to do all the things that they say when you wear them. And we also just know that it's like your everyday outfit wear.
Yeah.
It is the go-to tee. It is the thing that just is easy to grab and go. And so we hope that you shop the collection on May 18th. It'll be open for a week.
If you're a VIP subscriber, you can shop it a day early.
That's true.
Which would be the 17th. Right.
Wow.
That's how calendars work.
That is how calendars work. Do you have a favorite?
Well, here's the thing. I always have a favorite.
Okay.
Like when we're like designing, you're designing, ordering, telling me to look at it, blah, blah, blah. I always have a favorite or favorites. And then they arrive and I try them on and sometimes it gets flip-flopped a little bit. So
This was
I have not tried anything on yet except for the blue one I'm wearing right now.
this was the most highly voted on one.
I will give you
rest.
rest.
Like bouquet flower thing.
Is that cream or ivory?
There's
The tea.
ivory, and then there's also white fleck, and then it also comes on a butter soft sweatshirt.
Yeah. So without trying anything on, designs that are my favorite are the I Am the Vine, which if you're looking at my video,
Grab it.
the whole design though, not just that one. Like I was between wearing that one, the yellow version right here, and then the one I was wearing. And then this was the medium that was steamed. So I wore this one.
This is probably invigorating for listeners.
That's why I'm like, yeah, let's speed it up a little bit because I'm worried about it. No, it's fine.
We're
Worry.
not-
See?
We're
Worry.
not in a rush.
I don't know. Slow Down hasn't been back in a while, and that's one that every time we do it, I keep one. Like I've had a gray one for a long time. I had a peach one for a long time. I had a sweatshirt, like a peach sweatshirt for a long time, or was it like Dusty Rose or something, or maybe the other way around. But I tend to hold on to one of those every time we do it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that that's back, and I'm really excited that you made a mistake and also ordered it on an ivory
Yeah,
tee.
I did not mean to do that, but when I was copying the order, like like I order in chunks on like an Excel sheet, and I like copy it down to like replace it.
Yeah.
And Slow Down was only supposed to come on 2 items.
It's
and
on
then
3, baby.
And then I like went back to look when I was creating the products on our store, and I was like, what?
It looks so nice.
And then
it's
I
right
like
there.
checked the order, and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely just did not think of that.
I don't think I can reach that far, but it looks so good.
My favorite, the one that I'm most excited was the one that I'm wearing. It's got island vibes for days. It says "Walk in Love" on the front with like a palm tree and just islandy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the back it says "Work hard, seek rest." It says "Walk in love, work hard, seek rest, and choose joy," which has slowly become, or not has slowly become, it is sort of the mantra of our family. Before our Friday night Shabbat dinner, we say, we are a family that loves Jesus, works hard, which we just added in recently.
Works hard.
So there's always
I just need to remember that whatever we add comes first.
after loves Jesus.
It's like, yes. It's like we say the intro, and then because then I could keep adding things if I get panicked that I don't know where we've added it.
Yeah. We're a family that loves Jesus, works hard, seeks rest, chooses joy, and walks in love. And so as we build out this sort of family mantra, my long-term goal is to like have this all on a sign that's like loves Jesus and kind of like a description of what that means to us. Works hard, sort of what that means to us as we love Jesus.
Yeah.
Seeks rest, chooses joy, walks in love. And so but we have added it because it used to just be like loves Jesus, chooses joy, walks in love.
Yeah.
And so let that be a lesson that like if you have sort of like family mission statement, doctrine, or like motto that I don't know if it has to be set in stone, unless of course you carved it into stone, then
then I guess I suppose it is
get out the carving tools.
So my favorite designs, back to me. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I love that as a
just
segue.
Like a segue.
Just in any conversation.
Hey, back to me. There are people who live their lives like that, and I don't want to be friends with them. I'm not friends with them. I'm pumped that the Slow Down is back. I'm very excited about the I Am the Vine. Yeah. That big floral thing is so cool. Now, the thing that has surprised me, because of the item, is this green.
The color.
It's the color. Because I like the Do Everything in Love design. I maybe had kept one for a while when we did it a while back. But when we were ordering this whole thing, I wasn't like, there it is. That's my design.
Right. So that's the surprise.
That's the surprise one. But again, I have not tried them on. We have a new high-low tee, like the cream one we had last time that was incredible. It's in Dusty Rose this time. And we have this other like...
It's almost like I almost want to call it like a semi-crop tee.
It's not cropped, but it's not full length. If you're watching, you can see it. It says, "Let Grace Abound." It's this like slouchy. Is it oversized? It looks a little bit. Or is it just slouchy?
Don't you feel like semi-cropped is like a good description of it?
Mid cropped? I don't know what it is,
Crippity
but it's
crop.
Crippity cropped. I think people know exactly
like
the
Grace
length.
Abound.
Crippity
crop tee.
Crippity crop tee in Lalaki or whatever we're calling it. It's it's really pretty. Anyway, I don't know though, because I haven't tried anything on.
We're stoked.
And sometimes putting on the item,
Changes
I
the
was
game.
not planning on loving the lion tie-dye sweatshirt because I was like, I've been looking at this lion. I think I talked about this. I've been looking at this lion for like 10 years, people.
Right.
I'm a little over it, but I'm not, because I love the lion. I love what it represents and blah, blah, blah. I love it for other people. I've been wearing the lion for a very... I love this
that
for you.
I love that for you.
I feel like I'm digging myself a hole.
I just love that for you.
For you.
Like working on not being rude.
Yeah,
I love that for you.
But here's the thing. It showed
being
up.
friendlier.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
That showed up, and that sweatshirt was so stinking soft, which I knew. I knew it was going to be.
Right.
And do I wear it all the time? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just don't know.
You just don't know
stick your
until
arms
you know. Like you would say, when you try it on,
right,
something happens.
Oh, for sure.
Like when you try it on, it can be
game changers. Changes to the game such that the game can never be played the same way again.
1000%.
Yeah. I'm very
Which is why I like doing the try-ons, because I actually
Yeah.
try on every single item.
So if you want a preview of the entire collection, we'll do that on our stories. You can watch those videos. Another way that we're doing it this time around is you can message us on Instagram the word Seacrest, either with a space in between or all
Or it's like
together.
a keyword. Mhm.
Don't add any emojis or punctuation.
Right.
Just message us that. It's an automated message that will send you each design and the items that are on it.
And
then you
descriptions
just
of them.
keep going and going and going. But we're super excited. And obviously it's a great way to support the podcast. It's one of the best ways to support it.
Yeah.
And you guys have been doing such a great job supporting us this year through Tease of the Month that just launched and sold out. And then we had to sell more and they're almost sold out again. And then the event, as of now, there are 240 people coming to the event.
It's very
which
exciting.
is so many butt clenchers in one place.
Yes.
But we can fit 1,200 cheeks in the venue.
Oh, individual cheeks.
Yeah.
Wow. We're doing cheek math? Okay. I don't live my life by cheek math, but I can start if that would help
I
you.
think we should start.
How many are in your family? They're asking about the number in your family.
10 cheeks.
Well, there's 10 cheeks. Actually, there's 20 if you include our faces. But people are like, I'm sorry.
What?
How many? I meant how many kids do you have? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm
3.
sorry. I have 3 kids
Oh, no.
for a total of 6 cheeks.
Yeah, they follow.
You just keep just circling it back.
6
Circle it back. I'd like to make a reservation for 6 cheeks. I mean, it's true. It's accurate.
Very accurate.
Well, I guess for us it would be.
Well, do people only have one butt cheek?
No.
Like if your leg gets chopped off towards the top.
I mean, I think it depends where, but I think you would still have 2 cheeks.
2 cheeks.
We're gonna just lean into the 2 cheeks.
Okay. Anyways, we have 100. What did I say?
You said we have 1,200 spaces for cheeks.
Right, which is 600 people.
600 people.
Yeah. 240 people are in.
Yeah.
480 cheeks coming. So
Wow.
if you want, so early bird pricing has technically ended, although I have not updated it as we're recording, which is now a thought that I need to.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, we're not going to raise it. So the like ticket price is $299.
Mm-hmm.
Early bird pricing was $199. I'm going to raise it to $249. I'm going to kind of split the difference for the next,
Halvesies.
probably through May.
Kind of like this crop.
Yeah.
It's like halfway.
It's like a semi-crop of a ticket price.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're a butt clencher and a podcast listener and just an amazing human being, I assume.
Yeah.
Pretty strong assumption, I think, to be
I think
made.
that's a good assumption.
If you message us, we'll send you a discount code.
Is it a certain word?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you message us,
I don't know where you're going, so I have no help.
ticket
Singular.
or tickets.
Ticket.
Ticket.
Ticket, ticket, ticket.
Ticket
Or
down.
crippity crop. No, just kidding. Don't message us that. There's nothing's going to come back at you. You're just going to look like a weirdo.
If you message us ticket,
I'm now giggling about the idea of pranking people, which is so mean. So mean with our automated messages. Be like, just message us. I really need
And it
help.
just sends them
or
gifts
like,
for like the
it
next
smells
hour.
really bad. Like, just message us this sentence, and then all we do is screenshot it. We're like, look at these weirdos sending us messages.
That is not what I'm doing
No,
because
I'm
my heart is
kidding.
full of love.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my shirt. It says walk in love, work hard, Seacrest, and choose joy. Yeah, yours says love deep, but obviously it's pretty shallow. I like that for you. I like these shirts for you. You know, especially what they say.
Yeah.
I like that for you.
Oh.
If you message the word ticket, we'll send you it's because you're a butt clencher. If you didn't get on early bird pricing, we'll at least
What
give
you're
you
saying is,
what I'm circling the wagons to say is that
if you missed the $199 and you're coming in hot
at
for the
$249,
$249, we have a discount code.
we have a
for you.
discount code for you.
Got it.
Just
got
as
it,
an
got it.
extra way of saying thank you to listen to the podcast.
Okay.
But we also might have another speaker joining the
That's exciting.
event.
We shall find out.
We shall find out. So I think that's all the like newsy stuff we
I
have.
think so. I can't see the time because you
Don't
have
worry
your
about
buttons
it.
up.
Just don't worry about it. Just be, babe.
Okay.
Just calm down.
Instant fire rage in my
Let's
bones.
start off with those strong feelings. Go ahead, tell them.
What are my strong feelings?
When people tell you to calm down.
We've talked about this,
Well, let's talk about it again.
but I think this is a pretty universal strong feelings. I don't think that anybody, when told, "Hey, calm down," actually calms down.
Right. Maybe a kid does.
But do they? See, I don't know.
They could. Not if you're like, hey,
I think if it was like an emergency type situation, and where like if I truly wasn't calm, something worse was going to happen, and
Right.
somebody was genuinely looking at me, like grabbing my face, like, you need to calm down, kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
I think maybe in that scenario, those words would be helpful.
Yeah.
In like de-escalating something that could be like intense. But when it's in the casual, like, hey, calm down, it's all gonna be fine, don't worry about it. Hey. And I'm like, hey,
I was calm until you
I'm
said
fine
that.
until you said that.
Yeah, I think that's when it
And I lit
bothers
your house
you.
on fire. But
Now
just
the
calm down
fire-
about it.
Yeah, just calm down. Your house on fire. Just calm down. Have you ever had a moment in life where you've kind of had to like grab someone and just be like, you got to get it together? I've had one.
I
Do you know the one I'm going to
do
tell?
know the one. I don't know if I have.
Oh.
Actually, I don't. Was I doing the grabbing? I've been in two scenarios where people have been grabbed and told to get it
Okay.
together, but I don't think I was ever the one.
You've just seen it.
I've just seen it happen.
Wasn't one like a
loved it
roller
for them.
coaster?
No, it was the so it's Disney World.
It's like a drop.
No. It's the one where you go in and it's like an immersive experience, and there's like a scientist and a
I've never been to
lizard alien like
Disney
breaks
World.
loose or something.
Okay.
I don't know if it's based on a movie or if it's just like an experience.
Okay.
So your chair, is like blowing the hot air
Okay.
and like
it's like you're moving.
you're
and stuff. Okay.
moving and
Yep,
it's
yep, yep.
whatever. Yeah, it was very scary. And so as kids, Taylor and I were like, we were not prepared for what was about to happen. Yeah, it was intense.
Mine was I was shooting a wedding. I was second shooting a wedding with one of our photographers,
Mm-hmm.
and they did a first look. So we had shot all the bride and
couple
groom
did.
photos before, and we were like getting ready. Like it was like kind of like a little lull between the start of the ceremony and
Mm-hmm.
finishing the photos. And the photographer's like kind of tapping themselves, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, like tapping their pockets,
Yeah,
and like
looking
their
for
bag,
something.
and they're like, "I can't find the portraits
That we just did.
that we just took." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I just can't find them."
Mm-hmm.
And so this person is panicked. Obviously, I was starting to panic,
Yeah,
but I had to grab them and say,
get it together.
"Get it together. We're going to shoot the ceremony. And then we're going to say, the sunlight is so good right now. Can we please shoot some more portraits?"
Yes.
And we're going to go and we're going to shoot them all again,
Yes.
but with better lighting, because that
That's
was
true.
actually
That's
true.
accurate.
And we're just going to make it work.
Yeah.
But you got to lock it up.
Yeah. You got to get it together.
But oh man, that like, because I've done that. Like I've deleted our website one time
Mm-hmm.
completely. This was like back in the day when it was like, to build a website, you were like sort of trying to code your own stuff, but
Yeah.
also like it just wasn't as easy as it is now.
It's not a drag and drop Squarespace like it is now.
But that feeling of just like, oh, I'm gonna
hurl.
I'm gonna throw up. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna throw up, and then my life is over. And but
Basically is how you feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Brooke, how has your week been? We've had quite a doozy of a week.
Have we?
Yeah, we have had 2 sick kids.
I like, these are those moments where I'm like, I'm going to pretend like we're sidebarring for a second and no one on the podcast can hear us. Okay. I feel very self-conscious at how often we've been saying our kids are sick. Our kids are sick.
Really?
Yes. I feel like we say it every week that someone's not feeling well.
Isn't that just sort of like kids though?
Yeah. And especially in certain seasons, but it's like, I feel it. I feel the like, are our kids always sick? And then I'm like, no, they're not always sick.
They go months and months without getting sick.
1,000%. And I don't think anything of it because they're not sick.
Yeah.
And then we all kind of get a cold or whatever at the same time.
I feel like when sickness comes to your home and you have young children, it's inevitable to hit everyone. And it's
pretty
almost now inevitable to hit everyone twice.
Yeah.
Because by the time someone recovers, the other chunk of the family has it. And then like
100%.
you're just going to circle it around.
Yes.
So we've had, Junie's Sunny threw up a couple of times.
Yeah.
But Junie's had this cough that has just been nagging her. And so we've played a little bit of sleep musical beds lately because
lots of shuffling going on.
Lots of shuffling, lots of just like waking up in the middle of the night, just can't stop coughing.
I slept through the night last night for the first time in like 7 days.
And it's not because of a baby.
Nope.
It's because of our oldest child.
Yeah. Both. They were both up here, but
is that just makes life really hard. I feel like you could share a little bit about what you shared with me yesterday.
Which was what?
Which was
dead serious. Which was what?
About just like when this lack of sleep happens, usually around.
Yeah. So I'm working right now. I'm like in the depths of finishing up the Rhythms Made Simple course.
Yes.
Which if you've already purchased and you're like, where is it? You should have an email from us if you didn't see it. That's like, it is coming and it is good, but it is way deeper and more intense. Not intense, more, there's more to it, I guess, than we thought. And so it's just taking a little bit longer, but I'm very excited about it. But I often feel like, here, I'll sidebar into all of this. Maybe this is our topic today because this is actually in the intro to Rhythms Made Simple. I was talking about, and remind me to bring it back to the sickness that we're talking about in case I'm like, where was I going with this?
I love that for you.
In the intro, I'm talking about how when we start to implement things like what can be these like radically life-changing, life-giving practices of Sabbath and of like a family dinner and of blessings and routines and like all this kind of stuff. And we start to make these big strides and changes, which come little at a time. Like I'm not saying you're just going to like do one Sabbath and everything's going to be changed. But I think we become so much more dangerous to the devil.
100%.
And so he's like, I ain't letting that happen. Right. And so we often say that the devil doesn't speak French. We've talked about that before. Yes. And to reiterate, unless of course you actually speak French, and then he would speak. He probably does speak French. I think he speaks all the languages.
The big thing is like the reason for that phrase is, okay, picture The Incredibles.
Okay.
The original. The first one.
Got it. Great movie.
And great movie.
Great
movie.
Are we sidebarring a sidebar? Fantastic movie.
A fantastic movie. I remember when that came out.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for making us part of your week.
Sorry you had to unsubscribe after that. So there's a scene in that movie where he's up in the tall building, Mr. Incredible, and Bon Voyage comes in.
Bon Voyage.
Bon Voyage.
Bon Voyage?
Bon Voyage?
I thought it was Bon Voyage.
Bon Voyage, but it's Bomb Voyage because he bombs things.
But there bomb. Okay. You can't say bomb on an airplane.
What if I was a bombardier? And he's like, like he's so theatrical in his villainy.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of times we think that's how the devil is going to sound to us. He's going to be such a theatrical villain.
Yeah.
Explaining and making it super obvious to us to avoid that line of thinking or to avoid those words or to avoid that decision or whatever. And so the phrase, the devil doesn't speak French in a French accent, is that like he sounds a lot like your internal voice.
Oh, 100%.
And he disguises himself in that way so that he can lead you astray. And another way that we talked about it before, I think it was in the same episode. It was like a really early integrated episode of just like, if you picture your life as sort of like this computer screen desktop, the devil is going to be a very somewhat attractive pop-up window that like you're working on, you're trying to do, you're thriving in your life, and all of a sudden this pop-up window shows up that wants to pull your attention to something else. And so that's why we say that phrase.
Yeah. So in the beginning of the course, I'm talking about how the devil doesn't speak French. And then another one I'm adding in is that he plays, and I didn't come up with this, but I've sort of expanded. Is that right? Expanded on the idea a little bit in relation to like rhythms in our lives. Like he plays chess. The devil knows. I've never played chess. I've watched people play chess. I think I understand chess a little bit, so I feel like I can talk about this, but I'm not like some chess person. But he plays chess in that like he knows he can't take us down in one move.
Right.
He does not come in and swoop the legs out from under us in one fell swoop and we're like, oh,
Sweep the leg.
yeah, like there he is. Like, no, he's calculated, he's smart, and he knows he can't take you down in 2, so he's going to take you down in 12.
Yeah.
And so it's these little things. It's this like cynical attitude. Hey,
Yeah.
say that, think that. Hey, pursue this.
Yeah.
Hey, ignore that person. Hey, it's like this constant, which is kind of like the pop-ups a little bit. Like
He's going to push you into life of apathy over a life of action. And so it's not even like Jesus has defeated him. If we put our faith in Jesus, we have he's defeated.
Yeah.
But we can still have a life that is not reflecting as much glory to God because of what the devil is doing.
Yeah. And so it's funny, Bianca and I were talking about it the other night, and how like we don't want to give him more credit than he deserves. Right. I don't want to be like, everything in my life is the devil coming after me. Like I don't want to just be like,
that's a really good impression of how Bianca sounds.
Yeah. I don't want to believe that, but I also don't want to believe that he has no power.
Right.
And that he's not seeking to devour, and that he's not aiming to confuse and distract and like do all these things. And so like I don't say that there's a middle ground in terms of like apathetic middle ground, but just like I don't know, I want to land somewhere in the middle of my attention to it, and then my like I don't want to be so swept up in the fear of it all that it's like a paralyzing thing.
Right, because you can live a life of inaction both ways.
Kind of either way.
Yeah, like you can just always focus on it, and you're just like, okay, dude, but like you gotta actually live life, or you can,
Yeah. So anyway, circling it back to the sickness thing, I had pointed out to you, T, pretty casually, like, did you notice? I said to you the other day at the computer, like, did you notice that the last time all the girls were sick and I didn't sleep through the night at all for like 8 days was when I was writing the Home Joy course. And it's happened again, and I'm writing the Rhythms Made Simple course.
Yeah.
And so it's like, again, I don't want to be like, it's clearly him and he's here all the time, like blah, blah, blah. But I'm just like, I noticed because I thought like, man, this feels like kind of close together. And it feels like, why do I feel like I'm not sleeping through the night, or things are harder, or some like weird financial things have come up or whatever when I'm trying to work on something that I feel like is deeply rooted in the Bible and truth and all this kind of stuff.
And it will change. I mean, when we started implementing the rhythms and Sabbath, I mean, it radically changed our life, our marriage, our relationship with the Lord. It has made us more proactive in our faith. It has done so much. And so, it's going to be a powerful tool. But I'll kind of piggyback off of that. So, kids throwing up last week. Kids not sleeping. Brooke's trying to write this course, which has made me sort of shift into like, I'm dad. I'm just, like I work a little bit.
Solely dad mode a lot right now.
Right now, just as we're doing this, because that's just the way that it's working.
You have
right now.
more consistent daily work, typically.
Yeah.
And I have these like deep dive projects that I need. And then I come out the other side, and until I need to enter the next one, I can not work for like 2, 3, 4, 5 days.
Because I'm more of like the operating officer, manager, CEO, and then you have sort of some of this creative vision that I could do, but not as well. And so that's sort of where our roles are. So right now I'm in sort of like dad mode, and then all of a sudden our kids are not sleeping. And so this is what happened in the last week since you've started working on this course.
Sure.
Kids get sick twice.
And poor Sunny, Grace.
Yeah.
Like violently sick. Like I've never seen her that sick in her
Double
life.
dragon sick.
Yeah.
What did she say when she was...
Oh, I know. I just texted to your sister today. At one point, she's I don't know if I should share it, but I don't think she'd care if she listens to this someday. But like, you know, Double Dragon coming out all the places, and she just yells at the top of her precious little lungs, I wish I was someone else.
Yeah, it's like David after Dennis.
Dennis out of the seat. I was like, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happens. And the sleep obviously disrupts Brooke more. I sleep more soundly. And so the girls have now known to just go to you, but it still disrupts both of our sleeps.
It does.
So that's happening. The guy that mows our yard is like, hey, there's some water dripping from your roof. I climb up there, find the spot. So every house on Maui has hot water heater solar panels. So you heat your water through these solar panels.
Yeah.
It's not required it's required by law on a newly built home. So every house has them.
So you could build a new home, put them in, and rip them out the next day. Yeah. It's up to you.
So
that
ours were
foolish
leaking.
Now that we know the cost of that.
Yeah. So ours were leaking. So get the guys, call a few people to come out and take us a look. Everything is expensive. So there's just like, bam. And I was talking last week how we're feeling that sort of like pinch right now. So that happens. Then we sometimes move our cars out of our driveway and park them on the street to let Daisy and the kids play in the driveway, like with chalk
kind of like
and all this
block
kind of
it
stuff.
off so they can't. So Daisy specifically can't just run out onto the road.
And we live on a pretty quiet street. So at one point last week, I'm like, all right, I'm going to move the van back in the driveway.
I tried to take it to the gym in the morning. And it wouldn't start.
So then I would go out there, wouldn't start. So text a friend of mine that knows car stuff kind of well and kind of gave me some advice that ended up working, but I needed to change the battery, which do you think? Not a big deal.
You've done that so many times in our cars.
Just pop two things off.
With the Civic, you used to do it all the time.
Yeah. And so, but it took me, I think 4 hours.
Oh, way more than that. I mean, it took you all day.
Because I didn't have the right socket wrench, so I had to go get that.
Yeah.
The guys were working on our water heater panels while I was there. I asked them if I could borrow a socket wrench.
They were like, oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And
so gave them to you.
But they didn't have the right size.
The one size you needed was missing from their set.
So just like, it was one of those things where it's like these things individually are frustrating. It's frustrating not to get sleep. It's frustrating to have an appliance. But they're not like a major cost appliance go out. It's frustrating to have a car battery die. But to have them all happen within 5 days of each other, it will make you feel extremely frustrated. And honestly, the perspective of you being like, hey, we're working on something that matters was really helpful to me. Like that kind of shifted my focus and changed sort of my heart towards it. But and again, we're not just saying like, oh, everything we do is so cool that the devil's got an eye out for us. Like, we're not
what I'm saying
that. I love that for you, but I'm not saying that about me. But yeah, it was just, and here's the thing. I think what we need to decide when we're having seasons like that, or even just a few days like that, how are we going to respond? What are we going to be like? What kind of dads are we going to be? What kind of wives are we going to be? What kind of moms are we going to be?
It's like the idea in parenting where you're like, okay, your kid's heightened, they're having a moment. Talk about the emotions surrounding that moment and how to change it next time, another time. You don't sit down in the heat of it all and say, let's talk about how you're feeling. Like you're supposed to follow up with your kids and say, hey, remember when? And so, which is just intentionality. And so it's the same thing. Like if we decide in advance what you're saying, this is the type of mom I want to be. This is the type of dad I want to be in these scenarios. Then when they come, we've already talked about it.
And we actually ended up having a really good conversation that I think might benefit some other married couples out there. So I'm going to put us on the spot a little bit. I was having a really frustrating day. It was battery day.
Yeah.
I had spent some time doing work. I had to do financial work. So that was already just like a baseline, and then I came down. It's like, I'm going to change the battery. I'm going to do this thing. It's going to be, that'll be one thing off my plate that's just finished.
And a big thing. Yeah.
A big thing.
Because we do need the other car.
Yeah. And
for us, for guests, like we need it.
So I was working on that, and I was really trying, because I was frustrated. I was just like, I'm going to say a word that I probably shouldn't say.
Yeah, it was a 2 F word situation, but you didn't say it.
But I'm going to say I was pissed. Yeah.
I think we've only said that one other time.
Sorry, Mom.
Here.
And Dad. But I was the P word.
It really sucked.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. We just whisper the rest of the episode every other word.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so I was really trying to just still be present for the girls, because I've definitely been convicted when I'm in a bad mood, and June or Sunny will be like, "Hey, Dad, are you mad at us?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, like."
Because you're not.
Because so much of our communication with each other is nonverbal. And so everyone picks up on someone in a bad mood. Yeah. I don't hide it well at all as an individual. I suck at that.
Love that for you.
And so I was like, I'm not going to let this ruin my day. I'm just going to keep going. And I'm going to take Daisy to to Home Depot to get the socket wrenches. And then I'm just going to just keep going. And as long as it takes, it takes.
Yeah.
And so towards dinner time, Brooke seemed like she was in a bad mood. And so I was. And so I was like, what's going on? And you're like, well, I know you had a hard day. And so here's what happened. Our conversation, I wouldn't say it was an argument. It's just a conversation that like, I sometimes feel like, and maybe the other sort of Enneagram 7s, more naturally joyful people out there in the audience might feel this, that like, you can't have a bad day. You as the sort of like, it's
so obvious when someone with that natural disposition has a bad day that it feels violently different because you are the other way almost all the time.
And so I explained to Brooke that it's hard for me to admit I have a bad day if I know it's going to make you have a bad day.
Right. And that's more my disposition.
And so I then try to hide my feelings or not feel my feelings. And so we ended up having this really great sort of conversation about how when I'm not feeling great or I'm frustrated or life seems hard or heavy or big or, just I need to be able to feel that way. And I need to not have it affect you like it did that day, because now I'm like, well, why would I ever show that I'm having a bad day if I know it's going to make both of us have a bad day?
Yeah.
Like I'll just avoid it. I'll just self-medicate with video games and sour candy and TV watching. And we don't want to do that. And so if you feel like that happens between you and your spouse, that's a conversation to have. Maybe not when you're having that bad day.
Exactly.
But that's kind of when it happened for us. And thankfully we have the emotional ability to communicate deeply.
But we don't always, but we do more now than ever.
And so, it was just that type of week of just.
Yeah. I feel like there was more to it too. Like, I don't even feel like I remember all of it because I kept trying to just be like, let it go. Let it go. Don't focus on it. Don't sit with it. Let it go.
Yeah.
Feel it and let it go. Yeah. That was our week. Is that how we got here?
That's how we got here.
That's how we got here. How was your week? Yeah. I'll share a little bit more from this and then we can kind of reverse this, like, because I do want to do what we Googled. Okay. I did have it pulled up.
All right, we'll end with that.
But looping back to what we were saying and to the intro to the course that I was writing at the time, and just this idea of like, when we start to pursue, if you listening start to or have been or whatever to pursue the life to following Jesus with everything you've got, like we've been, hopefully like we talk about all the time, but I definitely feel like the last 2 months of episodes coming off of Integrated and then some of the Homejoy stuff, I feel like it's been like a little more like heavy hitting with all the stuff we've been talking about. I do think you'll hit seasons of just like feeling it, of feeling like, man, I just feel
attacked, defeated.
worn out.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you're like, oh, I don't really know why. And it's because he doesn't try to take you out with one thing.
Right.
You're not like, oh, boom, there it is. Sometimes that can happen in life. You could totally pinpoint the one thing that has just taken you down. Some sort of
tragedy
or something. Yeah. But most of us, most of the time, it's not just one thing. And so I feel like we're left thinking like, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe something's just wrong with me.
Oh,
you know?
I definitely feel
like,
that.
I don't know. And so as I was doing some reading and putting all this together, I found this quote from the guy who wrote the book. I don't have it in front of me. Ben Stewart,
Rest and War.
Great book. He has this fight. It's like every few pages, he has like one big page. It's like a big quote, real big. And so as I was skimming, looking for something else, which I loved, that I was in the book to find a different quote.
Yeah.
And this jumps out in these huge, bold, literally bold letters. It said, "We haven't been set free from the fight. we've been set free for the fight. And so I was like, highlight, write it down, because this is going into the whole intro that I was talking about, like building a life, a home, a family based on the lifestyle of Jesus and the tools he's given us is one of the most powerful kingdom endeavors we can pursue.
Yeah.
And it is how we fight the good fight. Because when I hear that, I'm
say it
like,
again. Just say it again. Say it again.
We haven't been set free from the fight. We've been set free for the fight. And so I hear that, fight the good fight. We have one of my favorite shirts hanging in our closet. It says that with the cool rose on it, fight the good fight. And I hear that or read that and I understand what it's saying,
right?
But I feel a little bit of a disconnect to how that connects to my life.
Right.
Like I'm not out there.
Preaching on the corner.
Yes,
I'm
not in politics, like, doing this
revival
stuff.
Service. Or
yes. And so it can feel a little like, I get it. We're all fighting the good fight. But me,
right.
What am I doing?
I'm just a mom or I'm just a dad.
Yeah. Exactly. And so when we learn to view the acts of creating a family rhythm, homemaking, which we've been talking about, blessing our kids and our marriages, not as a way to retreat from the world, but to engage as a way to fight back the darkness. We are again fighting the good fight.
Yes.
And so I fully believe that you, meaning me and you, and also people listening, that our marriages, our homes, if we love and follow Jesus and we've, claimed him as our savior, that we are set apart. Like my kids are set apart, my business is set apart, and set apart means like sanctified. And so when something is sanctified, it means that we're moving away from something and towards something else.
Yep.
In sanctification, there's always this away and towards. So I'm going to move away from maybe speaking like that. Insert whatever
away
scenario.
From a life filled with sin.
Yes. Towards this. Away from this, towards this.
Towards holiness.
Right. And so when we start to live in, and I mean like believe, like live in that sort of sense, believe that our lives, my Sabbath, my Saturday morning movie with my kids, our pizza on a Friday night, from all the way to like how we put our kids to bed, that they are set apart from some things and set apart for some things, away and towards. Again, this is because I'm reading my notes now, like we become really dangerous to the devil. We do. And that's where I then get into he doesn't speak French.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play chess. And then the other quote that I love that I've highlighted, because I've been taking notes for this course for like about a year, but I didn't really know that's what I was doing.
Right.
I was just gathering what I was reading.
I mean, we've been taking notes for
learning.
this course for about 5 years
That's
now.
true. That's true. But I mean more like proactively in what I'm reading, like, oh, this fits into like rhythm stuff. This fits into like your home and your house. But I had no idea that literally genuinely no idea that we were working towards like putting together a course. And I'm sure you've heard this one before, but the Corrie ten Boom quote of, if the devil can't make you sin, he'll make you busy. And it's so true. Like his aim, and I said this earlier, is to distract us, confuse us,
frustrate us,
discourage us in our efforts, confuse us about what matters most, distract us from our purpose, which we talked about a few weeks ago. Like our purpose is to glorify God, all while keeping us busy and enticing us to believe that there's no other way. This is it. This is just life. This is just how we live our lives. And so all that to say that like as me and you and anybody listening, continue to step into and work towards living a life that is set apart, away from this and towards this. And we work on our communication and we practice our Sabbath even on Saturdays that do not feel relaxing, and like all of the things that I do believe there will be seasons and moments where we just feel like we're under attack.
Yeah.
I was not planning on talking about this today at all. I don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast.
It's good.
But
like here's my example. I get a lot of satisfaction over how well our businesses do. That is a big important thing to me.
Yeah.
Currently I'm in a season where that satisfaction's lower and my role is not needed there as much as it's needed to give you time to be there. And so I because I get a lot of my self-worth there, I'm learning that like, no, my worth comes from Christ and Christ alone. I can say that, but that's harder to believe than it is to just say. So in this season of feeling that, I get hit with this dead battery that takes me in a season of feeling unworthy and
like nothing you do matters.
Nothing I do matters. I get hit with this seemingly simple task that could be finished very quickly. And it takes me 6 hours.
At least. I mean, it was literally your whole day and some of the night before.
Yeah.
Then you get it fixed and you go to pick up drinks and it dies all over again.
Yeah. So
that was the whole thing.
Starbucks
drinks, not like alcoholic drinks.
So I took a drive, grabbed some drinks,
drove home.
I love that for you. I don't love that for anyone.
Right.
Let that be noted. And so it's just, it can be so easy to look at something like the battery and feel like, man, I don't have any worth. I don't have any purpose because I can't even do this simple thing right. I can't even get my kids to eat their meal or what, like fill in the blank
whatever.
For anything. And that does lead you down a road of just like apathy or like you take yourself off the board, you sort of withdraw or retreat. And that's not going to lead to a full life. That's not going to lead to a joy-filled life.
Yeah.
And it's when we establish some of these healthier rhythms and habits that the Lord has given us as gifts.
Tools.
That we really start to see that like those moments become less frequent. And so when those moments are less frequent, when I have less time to sit in my unworthiness, I have more time to glorify the King. And so when so you're
going to move away from.
So I'm going to move away from unworthy and
towards
glorifying Jesus.
Yeah.
And so as we develop these healthy rhythms that again were laid out to us in creation, we then become much more. We can get in the fight because we have time and energy and space and brain power and all these great things. And we are preparing our kids to sit in that season of unworthiness for much less time because they have now seen their parents do this for 20 years of their life.
Yeah.
And they have the great example of, I'm capable because of Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like, we weren't sure what we were going to talk about today because of no notes.
Definitely not this. Definitely not
this.
That's fine.
But my thought process here is that like some of you are feeling either defeated or unworthy or frustrated or just like my line is, does anything I do matter?
Right.
That is something that I feel so deeply.
Do you remember the 3 questions that everybody feels? Everybody's in life can be boiled down to,
I'm unlovable. All you think
I'm not trying to laugh, but Bianca had one of the funniest lines of all time that I'll get to in a second. No, it really is 3 lines. I'm unlovable.
I'm unworthy.
I'm unworthy.
And I'm unwanted.
And I'm unwanted. That if you the ultimate chairs behind.
Chair behind is one of those 3 things.
Is you land on one of those 3 things. Her funny line was, I couldn't remember the 3. And we're sitting there all talking. And I was like, it's like, from that Jenny Allen book.
Like I'm unlovable.
I'm unlovable. I'm unworthy. And without missing a beat, she goes, I'm ugly. And I laughed so hard. I still laugh about it. Yeah. That was over a year ago. But,
and so you might feel.
Because I don't, to interrupt, I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
That's rarely when I'm like, nothing I do matters. Like, I don't know if I've ever said that.
Right.
I don't feel like that's how I'm.
I love that for you.
Back to me. But it is 100%, 1,000% what you sit in.
And so some of you might be feeling that this week, or you might be feeling like your kids are up because you're trying to finally do something, or you feel a passion towards a calling that the Lord has put on your heart, and now you've gotten 4 hours of sleep the last 5 nights or whatever. And so.
But I think it can even feel like, yes, like I think the Lord could lay something on your heart and you're like, I'm passionate. I'm going to run towards this. I'm going to do this thing. And then you feel a little like interrupted, attacked or whatever. But I also think it can be like, no, I'm going to try to implement quiet time for my kids, because when we do quiet time, it can be so small that you feel like you're going to do this thing because you know how it impacts this and how it affects your rhythm and how it affects your kids and everybody's emotions. And then it's like quiet time doesn't work for 3 weeks. You're just like, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
But it's still worth.
Don't leave the game because of it. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
It's like, don't leave the game because of the dead battery or the solar panels going out or, the lack of sleep. Like Jesus has called you and set you aside and is sanctifying you to glorify him. And so don't allow these small inconveniences, I'm preaching to myself just as much, to take you away from that mission of glorifying him.
Yeah. Because Jesus, he didn't come to offer us an escape.
Right.
He came and he offers us a set of tools. He gave us the Bible. He gave us creation. He gave us rhythms. He gave us, he's not just like, I'm here, jump on board and we're all going to peace out. Like it's not an escape. I mean, he saves us in a sense. And so you could be like, well, I'm escaping XYZ. In that sense, sure, you can use it that way. But like, he doesn't just come as an escape. He comes and he gives us all this stuff to live the lifestyle of him and follow him and love him and grow and on and on and on and on. I end the intro to this part of the course video. Like, I want to fight back the darkness with every tool at my disposal. And it was a little bit of a light bulb moment for me that right now, maybe forever, but right now in the season I'm in, my main tools for doing that are my home, my presence, like me being here and not like zoning out or screensaver mode. Like it's my home, it's our Sabbath, it's our rhythms, it's this like proactive engagement with like, I'm gonna do life differently than so many people are doing it, or than culture's telling me to do it. And that is how I'm fighting the good fight. And in that book, he quotes somebody else, which is the quote I was looking for when I found this other one, which says, so fight the good fight, go home, build a house, and if you do it the right way, you will give the world a glimpse of things to come. And that's what's so cool, is that if we're giving the world a glimpse of things to come, my kids are included in that.
Yeah. And your grandkids.
Oh, yes, exactly.
And your great-grandkids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so like these rippling effects of like how we go about our days and our weeks, and how we move through the world as being set apart. It's not just in the name of practices. Like Sabbath isn't the end goal. You know what I mean? Like we're not here just to do a set of practices. Like we're here to follow a person, which is Jesus. And so these practices and tools absolutely help us do that. Yeah. But like, again, the end goal is
to bring God glory.
Yeah.
And so these tools and these rhythms and these practices help us achieve that.
Yeah.
And these rules help us achieve that. There's such like a cultural like moment right now of like, there are no rules.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Follow your heart. Blah, blah, blah. Like, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, well, I don't want to follow rules in a religious sort of way to check all the boxes and then I'm good.
Right.
But if my king tells me to follow some rules, I definitely want to do them.
Yeah.
Like because of love.
Yeah.
Because of love.
Oh, because of love.
So,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to end with what we Googled, or do you want
We can end with what we Googled. Yeah.
Do you want to?
I feel like I had a thought and then it just kind of went out. I saw this.
I'll just look at the camera.
You'll just wait until it comes back. No, something you said about rules. I saw this reel the other day. It was like somebody preaching, talking about how like God is good. And it was in the context of like him making rules and like guidelines, for us to follow. And how so often in culture, we're like, well, if it doesn't hurt anybody, what does it matter? Right. And like the person speaking had all these examples of like, well, if it's this and it's that and like nobody's harmed and blah, blah, blah,
right.
Like it's fine. If it makes me feel good or whatever. Right. And then the woman preaching posed the question of like, but like, you say that like, maybe we're not hurting anybody, but like, are we hurting God? Like, is anybody asking that question?
Right.
Like, are we asking that like, am I harming him? Am I breaking his heart? Am I grieving him with what I'm doing? Instead of just like, I'm fine. It doesn't really affect anybody.
Right.
Like, it's just me.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, no, God is good. And so this is a little side tangent, but you talking about that, saying that, and like these Like, rules are not bad. Rules guide us. And we have so many. Are there like arbitrary rando ones that I'm like, yeah, you don't need to be doing that. Like, sure, we can all find those in life or in some like religious areas. But again, to throw the baby out with the bathwater and be like, all rules are bad. All anything is bad. It's just like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. And I would say like one of my, sort of my last thought, and I'd posted this on my Instagram story earlier this week, that like, shout out to all the parents consistently and quietly protecting their kids from all the garbage in culture, which is just getting more and more extreme and outrageous. And I actually feel like there's a podcast episode between the two of us of how we protect our children. But that story got so much response because there are so many of you out there doing that. Yeah. And you're doing that to bring God glory. Like, don't give up that fight, because it is glorifying to your King. And it's just like that slow, consistent, steady pace of doing that. That's what we're talking about. Those are the rhythms that we're talking about. Those aren't flashy. They're not going to win you any awards or get you any sort of recognition.
But it's how real progress or growth, I should say, or change happens. It's just like losing weight. Like you, how do you eat an elephant? Like it's a little bit at a time. You don't just bam, you're down 40 pounds. Like, no, it's like this slow, sometimes feels like it's not working progress. But as you inch along, like
I mean, I was telling you, Brooke, like earlier this week, I've noticed something, like I started eating healthier than I've ever eaten and doing consistent hard workouts, more so than I've ever done in the past. And I'm coming up on
a year and a half,
and still I'm feeling like, oh wow, there's a little bit of change there. Like it's still happening. It's this ongoing process. And that's the same with your walk and your life with Jesus. It's and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, that feels different.
I have a muscle there.
I didn't even know muscles grow there. Come feel this.
Yeah, literally.
I'm in Target. Hey, can you feel this?
Yeah.
Do you have
Give me your finger. What does this feel like? I love that for you.
So, all right. Well, do you want to end with what I Googled?
I don't know. We don't have to. I have no idea how long we've been talking.
58 minutes and 36 seconds.
Oh, no, we don't have to. Or should I just rattle it off real quick with no context?
Yes.
Ready? Bob Goff's wife. How do kiwis grow? Where do I get coconut milk? Alan Rickman. Sign into Google. Sign into Google. Sign into Google. Why does my skin feel like it's being pinched? Hold on. There's a lot of skin stuff happening. Scroll. Shauna Niequist waves water video song. Try to... No, I can't. I can't give context. Shauna Niequist Mother's Day. Still didn't find it. Can I use ghee as a butter replacement in baking? Are there hummingbirds on Maui? What's the best day to release a podcast? Brown brand ice cream. Maui Kihei bike parade. Bruschetta pasta HelloFresh.
What date did you go to?
I went back to last Tuesday.
Okay. Exist.
Are you spelling it? No, there's no way.
No, I'm trying to figure out how to spell it. I use Google as my spell.
You just Google it. I just type it however I want and right click it. I'm like, oh, one of these I'll figure it out. We can't talk about them because I gave no context to mine.
Red light next to brake light on a Chrysler Pacifica. Bold as lions. Walk and love Amazon. Type of battery for a 2018 Chrysler Pacifica. John Tavius Johnson's age. Carmart. Lego Master Season 2 contestants. Safeway Kihei. Rotten Tomatoes. 732 area code. Jeffrey Reckling. Miracle Water.
Miracle Water?
An AI to listen to my podcast and make it searchable. Angel Studios, Airy, Wing Feather Saga Show, Average Birth Rate, Average Kids Being Had in the U.S., Bud Light Twitter, Auto GPT, Apex Cosplay.
Apex Cosplay? Oh, we might need to talk about something here. Is this a separate conversation? Is this a non-podcast conversation?
Road Streamer X. Is breakdancing in the Olympics? Is baseball in the Olympics? Autopod multicam editing. Autopod AI. How to drink mineral water at home. Best type of water to drink.
Miracle Water. Maybe this segment's going to be we're not allowed to give any context. We just have to read them off.
I can keep going.
Quotes about joy in the home. Sign in, sign in, sign in. Google. Who is Illicit Affairs about? It's a Taylor Swift song.
Okay.
Define Gables.
Glad you added the B there.
What?
Really define gays.
No, Gables. Gables. Do you know what a gable is?
No.
Like Anne of Green Gables?
No.
A gable is a part of a rooftop.
Oh.
Like the little part over like a window kind of.
Okay.
So it's not a location. Anne is not from Green Gables. I believe she lives in a house with Green Gables. Color wheel.
Mario coin.
Color wheel, analogous and complementary. Younger Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields documentary. Why let my cookies cool on a cookie sheet? Tapioca flour cookies. Joanna Gaines herbed mayo. Ooh, worth Googling every time. So good. Butterfly Farm.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Wow.
That is, between everything we just talked about and those Google searches, y'all know exactly where we've been at the last 2 weeks of our lives. Our headspace.
Should I explain the Apex cosplay?
I don't know. Do you feel like you need to?
Well,
It's fine, T.
I will.
I love this for you.
Friend of mine who I play Apex with
Yes.
had a date.
Okay.
And so I searched that to find an outfit for him
To wear on
to
his
wear
date.
on his first date as a joke. That's what that one I like.
Okay. Sure. I might need to Google Amazon history purchases real quick.
Friday finds.
Yeah. Oh my word. Today we're going to talk about cosplay. It's just us in costumes. Fully loving it.
Nothing would make me feel more uncomfortable than going somewhere in public in a costume like that. I'm just
Nothing.
Like, well, that's at the top. Like, I don't like to be embarrassed by my clothing. That's a very like maybe Cindy had something to do with that.
No, but
I mean, I've talked about that. How like we weren't allowed to wear like sweatpants out in public.
oh yes,
Yeah,
you mean the feelings accompanying clothing.
Yeah.
I was like, your mom always had you really well dressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see
Airplane
what you mean.
clothes, baby.
Yes, now I see what you're saying. Yeah. Wow.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. Send the podcast to a friend. Leave a
Yes.
review. Buy a shirt.
Reply with the DM us the keyword ticket if you want a discount on ticket.
And then the word Seacrest if you want.
To see all the pictures
items.
and all. Yes.
We didn't do a discount code. We'll do it next week.
Sure.
Thank you for listening. Okay,
I love you. Bye.